Hey, welcome, hardy Iowa Democrats. I've known Steve Bullock for 12 years, since he first became Attorney General of Montana. Here's what I know about him, and it's also the reasons why I'm supporting him for president. He's a man of immense integrity and character. He's a person of extraordinary qualities and abilities when it comes to public policy and serving in government. He has an enormously good judgment on how to make decisions. He's roughly the same place I am on the issues which I would describe as mainstream liberal, mainstream progressive, not a moderate, nor on the left. But what stands out in my mind is his ability to connect with people and voters. Of all the people I've seen come to these caucuses over decades, he and Barack Obama connect with people better than anybody else. And the reason I say this is they both respect everybody equally. Everybody is important. He goes everywhere, rural areas, urban areas. He listens to people, he empathizes with people, he connects with people. And that package has allowed him to win in Montana, a very difficult state, win in rural areas and urban areas, run 24 points ahead of Hillary Clinton. And those kinds of qualities would allow him to be, I think, the best of the candidates to head the ticket in Iowa when we have such difficult fights and important fights for the Senate, for Congress, for the Iowa House. He could help our candidates. And the same reason why he would run so strong in Iowa is why he would run so strong in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and other places. This is the man that can lead us to victory. And the same qualities that I've talked about are the kind of qualities that we need in a president as well. So Iowa Democrats, take a good look at this man and think about him. My friend, Steve Bullock.
Thanks so much, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Iowa. Look, about this time of year, you got all kinds of visitors that try to make some distant connection to your state. So I'm not going to tell you that my great-great-grandparents settled in Henry County in 1850. I'm not going to tell you that my mother was born in Ottumwa. Both true, because that's not why we gather. We gather for the sake of our nation, for the sake of our nation standing in the world, for the sake of the America that we're going to pass on that next generation. We gather to make sure that Donald Trump is a one-term president. You know, it's more than just that, though. It's soundly rejecting this behavior that he's normalizing, the lies, the abuse of power, the dividing us by race, by gender, by geography. For goodness sakes, we expect more out of our preschoolers than we do the President of the United States. As Democrats, we win when we offer something better, when we show up, when we listen, when we focus on the challenges of everyday Americans. Look, I was raised in a single-parent household, paycheck to paycheck. Only knew there was a governor's house in town because I delivered newspapers to it as a kid. So I've made it literally 4 blocks in life. But I worked my way through college. I borrowed my way through law school. I'll never forget that day when my wife and I paid off $175,000 in today's terms of student debt. You know what, though? When I was growing up, 90% of 30-year-olds were doing better than their parents were at age 30. Today, it's only half. 60% of Americans haven't had a pay increase in 40 years. 2/3 of the counties in this country lost businesses over the last decade. And you shouldn't have to leave your church, your school, or your community just to make a decent living. When you go from delivering newspapers to the governor's house as a kid to now actually raising our family in it, you've lived the American dream. But you got to recognize for so many folks in this country, that fair shot at a better life no longer exists. For far too many in this country, that shot never did. So yeah, this is about winning the election, but it's also about making sure that the economy in Washington, D.C. is finally working for working people. First things first, we need to make this a single-issue election, and that single issue is kicking Donald Trump out of the White House. 2016, I was the only Democrat in the country to win a statewide re-elect in a state Trump won. He took Montana by 20. I won by 4. 25 to 30% of my voters voted for Donald Trump. And this election is about math. We need to take back 270 electoral votes. And you know what? The path to our victory doesn't just go through the coasts, doesn't just go through the urban areas. It goes through places like Iowa. A third of your counties voted Obama, Trump. This election is about the State House and the White House. And the deep, dark secret is we spend a lot of time loving you all to death. And then, bye-bye. Come February, we all leave. And you're left with a legislature that is gutting health care, that is stripping away rights from women, from workers. We need to make sure we have somebody at the top of the ticket that's actually going to help out all throughout the ticket. I believe I'm the best candidate to carry that message to all of America. Look, I refuse to cede the votes of rural America as if folks that work the land, feed the world, and pass the plate on Sundays somehow are forever wedded to a lying con man from New York with orange hair and a golden toilet. I'm a pro-choice, pro-union, populist Democrat that's won 3 elections in a red state, not by compromising our values, but by getting stuff done. Even with a legislature that's more Republican than yours, we actually passed health care for 100,000 folks. We made it so that we had mental health parity. We have record investments in education. We kicked dark money out of our elections. We've frozen college tuition and more, and we've done that without ever once compromising on a woman's right to make her own health care decisions. As a former union side labor lawyer, we've done that without ever once taking away a worker's right to organize and collectively bargain. Look, I'm the only Democrat left in this race, the only governor left in this race, and somehow I haven't made it through those DNC debate rules so far, because I only got in about 4 months ago. And instead of chasing donors, I was actually working with that Republican legislature to get and save health care for 100,000 Montanans. Signed my last bill on a Monday, announced on a Tuesday, and by Thursday I was right here in Iowa. I get what they're trying to do, but if we really are the party of the people, we ought to actually prioritize not chasing donors, but actually saving people's lives along the way. This is the most important election, certainly in all of our lifetimes. Yeah, it's about beating Donald Trump. It's about preserving a 243-year experiment called representative democracy. We need to be able to win back some of those places that we lost along the way. 135 days from now is when you voters actually start making the decision, taking a big field into a small field. I've learned a lot about Iowa Nice. You're somewhere on my list. I ask you to take a good look over the next 135 days. Put me at the top of the list because I can win those places. And because there's also something else. It's not just Donald Trump that's on the ballot. It's not just a 243-year experiment called representative democracy that's on the ballot. Indeed, the American dream is on the ballot right now. We have big problems in this country. Remember how united we were as a nation after 9/11? We came together with purpose, compassion, unity. We need that now. We need to be able to bridge some of these divides. We need to actually be able to heal some of these divisions and challenge the greatest thing that's happening right now, and that really is that so many folks in this country don't feel like they can live that American dream, have a fair shot at a better future. We can do that. My most solemn vow when I take the oath of office is sure to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, yes, but also that American dream, to make it real for the next generation. I ask you to take a close look. Go to stevebullock.com. This won't be the last time you see him in Iowa. Thanks so much for being here today. Thanks for what you're going to do over the next 135 days. Take care.